So we have this place that we're fondly calling the Arizona Rock Farm. I'm not sure if there's any other entity by that name. I haven't even searched. And that's just a colloquialism we're using because after we started working on this property, we found that there were rocks everywhere. This video here, it's been about 2 months since we actually purchased the little off-grid land, trying to work on it, bring in a driveway. We quickly found we needed more tools than just our hands and some shovels. That's a drag harrow that I'm unloading there from the back of the truck. Just have a few scrap lumber and things that we brought up for helping out. Like usual, if you're a lot of miles down undeveloped roads, you need to bring your fuel, gasoline and diesel for your work machines. That's a little wood pallet we made in the garage down in Phoenix just to use for lifting the water tank that we have out there. We have a tiny little 300-gallon water tank. There's the water tank. Pretty piece of land just outside of Coconino Forest, but several miles down undeveloped roads to get there. Pretty rough work. Got that water tank empty over at Tractor Supply Company. Turns out to be pretty durable after we've actually filled it up with some water, but we had to get it up on the pallet so we could offload it from the flatbed. There's the drag harrow again. Thing weighs over 200 pounds. A little difficult picking it up all alone and walking across that rocky ground, which you can see a glimpse of here from this view. Look at me struggle. Yeah. We first moved up there, we're just storing stuff occasionally up under the trees and moving it around. At a gate. We haven't been able to dig in fence posts yet though because the ground is simply too rocky. We were working on flattening an area we wanted to have for a portable building. In the meantime, we're working with the county to try to get the correct permitting, because we're of the impression we do stuff up and up. We get permits where they're required. It does seem to be more of a fuss than I would have expected. Here we are starting to actually do some work. Found a lot of boulders in the ground that we had to pop out, and got a nice Kubota rental from the Bingham Equipment Company down in the valley. There's a boulder, that one's about 800 pounds. It sticks under the surface more than it does above the surface. Got a little technique there to pop them out using the front end loader on the skid steer. That's a Kubota SSV65. It's a 2020 model. Does pretty good work for what it's worth. Got a lot of ground force, a lot of forward force, and there, got that boulder popped up out of the ground right there. Fishing boulders off to the side. Just trying to clean a little gravel area. So many small rocks. We spent 2 weekends earlier just picking up small ones from the surface, and then realized we had to have a machine to get some of the bigger ones. That one right there in the foreground, a little bit heavier, larger one. We pulled some that were probably twice the size of that. Pretty difficult to get them out. But by and by, we actually cleared a smooth driveway coming into the property there. Just shoving stuff over so it won't end up being in our way later and have to create more work for us. Now that Kubota SSV65 has been a real workhorse. We've had it up there a couple of different weekends. Really moved a lot of stuff around. That one right there was about a 2,000 pound boulder. Moving a lot of smaller rocks too, stacking them just out of the way, keeping them where we can use them again if we need them. And this was probably the second day I'd ever used the skid steer, so pardon my slightly choppy moves, but after a few hours you get the hang of it. We're flattening out an area where they're going to set down a little portable building, waiting on a permit from the county to actually put the building in there. Just trying to spread some soil out. In the past I used to use Kubota tractors on a farm in Alabama, but now we looked at what we had to do here and decided just to get a few rocks moved, we ought to get a rental skid steer. It does have a lot more power in the front end. We're pretty happy with it. Smoothing out some dirt here. Didn't want to have super high piers under a building and wanted to have fairly level ground. Raised it up just a hair. The ground here is very, very absorbent. When it rains, it soaks it right in. It hardly runs anywhere across the surface. Just working on making some flat areas. Again, this is probably within the first 3 hours of me ever driving a skid steer. Keeping stuff going, moving rocks around. Actually loaded some rocks in the front end there to add a couple thousand pounds just to get some ground weight, because I decided to come back and wheel roll the whole pad area right here. The SSV65 weighs in around 6,700 pounds with no bucket on it. So with the bucket and the extra stones, we're pushing 9,500 at this point. Made a little difference for how much ground weight I had packing this dirt down. The soil was super dry. The week after this, it actually snowed about 5 days after this video was taken, and the snow soaked in slowly, and I came back and packed it in again. I didn't have the camera with me that day. Sped it up a little bit there just to abbreviate all of the rolling. This is a Canon digital video camera. Bought this one around 10 years ago. Doesn't have a very wide angle view. Speed that picture up again a minute. Well, thanks for watching. We'll post a little bit more information about the Kubota SSV65. Bye-bye.